half hour from now, you'll know enough about the career of Marliyn Brando and America's presidents to win $10,000 in cash if you were a contestant on Hitman. And now, here's the host of Hitman, Peter Tomarken.
Thank you, Ronnie, and welcome everyone to Hitman. Again, we got another half hour of fun in store for you, and like always, we're going to become experts on 2 more subjects, because we're going to give you all the answers before we even get to the question. But before we do that, let's meet the folks who are going to actually play our game, and here they are, starting with Diana. Hi, Diana.
Hi.
Tell us about yourself.
I'm Diana Thompson. I'm married and have 2 children. I'm a department manager at a department store, and I love to snow ski.
Oh, you love to snow ski. Do you ski real well?
I'm really bad.
So am I. We'll have to ski together.
Okay.
All right, nice having you with us. And our next contestant is Marlin. Hi, Marlin.
Hi, Peter. My name is Marlin Fisher. I'm from a small town, Thor, Iowa. Hope they're watching. And I've been in Los Angeles.
All right.
I've been in Los Angeles for about 3 months. I'm a former engineer up in Pacific Northwest. I'm down here interested in modeling and acting.
Modeling and acting. Yeah. Well, good for you. I wish you the best of luck.
Thank you very much.
All right. And meet our third player, Carol.
Hi, Peter. My name is Carol Phelan. I'm a 2nd grade teacher, happily married, have 2 beautiful stepchildren, Christy and Cindy. Love photography, and I sleep with birds.
Okay, Carol. What do you mean you sleep with birds?
Well, we have 2 large cockatoos just adjacent to our bed in a 6-foot by 3-foot cage. We don't sleep beyond 6 in the morning.
Because they talk to you.
That's right.
Okay, Carol. Now I understand. All right. These are our 3 challengers. 2 of them are going to get a chance to go up against our champion in round 2. But we don't have to wait to meet our champion, because here she is, Kacey Tanaka. Hiya, Kacey.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm fine, thanks.
Yeah, how does it feel to be back on Hitman?
Feels great.
Yeah, you're all set?
I can't wait.
You absorbed that money you've won? All right, good. All right, just a minute. We're going to be showing our contestants and you out there our first story. Now, Kacey, you'll be watching it from off stage. We'll see you after round 1, and we'll be seeing you right after this. All right, let's get on with our show. Now, I promised all of you, before we ask any of the questions, we'd give you all the answers. But all the answers are in the form of a story. And all the questions we ask are going to be based on that story, the story of Brando. Give him a hando.
When we think of Hollywood stars, we picture limousines and jewelry and life in the fast lane. Marlin Brando has always taken a different road. When he was 19, he decided to become an actor and moved to New York. He got a job as an elevator operator in a department store, but he quit because he was embarrassed to say the word lingerie. His first movie was The Men. To prepare for his role as a paraplegic, he spent weeks in a wheelchair going places with disabled veterans. One night, in a diner, they were approached by a faith healer. She told them that faith alone could make them walk. Brando stood up, and the woman fell to the floor. Despite his excellent performance in The Men, he was not given a nomination for the Oscar. Perhaps that was because he wouldn't play the Hollywood game. When a reporter asked him if he preferred a bath or a shower, he said, "Neither. I spit at the sky and run under it." That was easy for audiences to believe after they saw him play Stanley Kowalski in A Streetcar Named Desire. Hollywood columnist Luella Parsons called him the slob. Then again, he called her the fat one. Soon he won his first Oscar for On the Waterfront. He played Terry Malloy, an ex-prize fighter, and became famous for mumbling the line, "I could have been a contender." Brando did a lot of private mumbling after he starred in the remake of Mutiny on the Bounty. It cost $20 million and was such a flop, Brando became known as box office poison. He cemented this image by starring in failure after failure for the next 10 years. Then The Godfather came along. Brando designed his own makeup for the screen test. He plastered his hair back and stuffed Kleenex in his gums. When the director, Francis Coppola, showed the test to the studio, the executives didn't recognize Brando. Sure, this guy looks Italian, they said, but can he act? Brando answered that question by winning his second Oscar for this role. He didn't attend the award ceremony, but sent an Apache maiden in his place, and he ordered her to refuse his Oscar. In his next film, Last Tango in Paris, his co-star was Maria Schneider. Brando had trouble remembering some of his lines and wanted them written on Maria's rear end. Well, that would give him an excuse for staring. The producers of the movie Superman wanted him to play the part of Superman's father, Jor-El. Brando held out until they made him an offer he couldn't refuse. He worked 12 days and was paid over $18 million. Who says you can't find good jobs anymore? Today, Marlon Brando is considered by many to be America's greatest film actor. In many of his roles, Brando was more than a contender. He was a champion.
Okay, well, that's our first story. So our game is played in two very different rounds. In round one, our three challenges will be fighting it out in order to determine which two of them are going to go on to do battle with our reigning champion later on in round two. And we make that determination by running a little race. Whichever two of you crosses the finish line first will be the two who go on to meet our champion in round two. Unfortunately, the third place finisher will be out of the game. And can you guess what impression I just did? I will guess not. Okay, glad it wasn't a question. Everybody get your hands on your buzzers, because here comes the real first question. Here it is. For what film did Brando win his first Oscar, Diana?
On the Waterfront.
On the Waterfront's right, and Diana switches out of the gate. When asked if he preferred a bath or a shower, what did Diana?
Neither. He preferred to spit in the sky.
Yes, you did finish it, and he did spit in the sky, right. Okay, Diana, that puts you two ahead of Marlin and Carol. Here's the question. Who co-starred with Brando in Last Tango in Paris? Carol.
Schneider.
Schneider is right. Carol moves up. What type of role did Brando play in The Men? Diana.
Gay.
Pardon? Was it gay? I think perhaps he was happy. I don't think he was gay. How about a paraplegic or a disabled veteran? Okay, moving right along. Diana, we're going to turn your light out for that. Okay? Well, we're going to go over to Marlin and Carol, and here's the question. Brando designed his own makeup for what? Marlin.
Godfather.
For what screencast? Godfather's right. Marlin makes his move, and we're going to bring Diana back in the game. It's okay, Diana. Everybody is back in. Here's the question. Brando starred in the remake of what film? Carol.
Mutiny on the Bounty.
Right, Mutiny on the Bounty, and Carol moves up, ties with Diana. Brando played what character in Streetcar Named Desire? Marlon?
Stanley Kowalski.
Stanley Kowalski's right. Three-way tie. Who approached Brando in a diner while he was preparing for The Men? Carol.
Faith Healer.
Faith Healer's right. Carol forges in the lead. What job did Brando once have? Carol.
Elevator operator.
Department store elevator operator's right. And Carol forges into the lead. And not only that, one step away from being our first winner. This question could put you over, Carol, if you buzz in and if you answer it correctly. But you got Diana and Marlin to contend with. Here it comes. What was the name of Brando's character in On the Waterfront? Terry Malloy. Terry Malloy. Okay, nobody buzzed in, so we just go to the next question. Here it comes. After Mutiny on the Bounty, Brando became known as box office Marlin.
Failure.
No, box office poison. Oh, close, but no cigar. Okay, Marlin, you got to sit this one out. We go to Diana and Carol, who is a lady in waiting. For what film did Brando win his second Oscar? Diana.
Godfather.
Godfather's right. Diana moves up. Just into that far turn, we bring Marlin back into the game, and here's the question for all three. When Brando stood up from his wheelchair, what happened to him? Diana?
She fainted.
Yes, she did faint. Diana comes up even with Carol. The two ladies are both one step away from being our first winner. Marlin is two back. Here's a question that could put one lady into the winner's circle. In what film did Brando have trouble remembering his lines? Marlin.
Last Tango in Paris.
Yes, indeed. That puts Marlin one back. Not going to go down without a fight. All right. On the Waterfront, Terry Malloy was an ex-what? Diana.
Gay.
You're determined to have gay. No, prize fighter. Something about Marlon Brando that we don't know. No. All right, Diana, we're going to turn your lights out again. And we're going to go over to Marlin and Carol. And Carol's one step away, and here's the question. How much was Brando paid for being in Superman? Marlin?
$18 million.
$18 million is right. Okay. We've got a three-way tie to go into that winner's circle. We're going to bring Diana back in. And here's a question for all three. In On the Waterfront, Brando mumbled what famous Marlin?
I could have been a contender.
Yeah, he could have been a contender. Okay, Marlin, congratulations. $20 picture. step champion in round 2. Contemplate that for a while. Sit back while Diana and Carol fight it out. And it doesn't look like it's going to be a long fight because they're both one step away from being our second winner. There can only be one, and here's the question that could put one of them there. Where did Brando want his lines written in last? Diana.
On the girls behind.
On the girls behind is right. There's our second winner. $200 picture. You're going to join Marlin in that battle against the champion in round 2. Carol, you got real close. You played real well. Thanks. You got
Thanks a lot.
I hope you had a good time.
Good.
All right. We'll be back in a moment to see just how well our two challengers do battle against the champion in round 2 right after this. Okay, we're back for round 2 of Hitman, and we've got Marlin ahead of the game with $300 and Diana ahead with $200. Marlin, I got to ask you, with a name like Marlin, we just did Marliyn Brando. Were you named after him?
No, I wasn't. Matter of fact, my parents' name are Merlin and Marlin, so it kind of came out that way.
Combination thereof. We're ready for round 2, and it's played entirely differently from round 1 because in this round, the challengers attempt to unseat the champion. Therefore, let's meet our champion one more time, our champion of one day, Kacey Tanaka. Hi, Kacey.
Hi, Peter.
How are you?
I'm great.
Ready to go?
Yes.
Ready to take on these two challengers? Yes. Okay. If you're ready, we're ready. For round 2, we see a brand new story, and that is our presidents. Just regular guys.
With today's high unemployment, you might like to know that there's one terrific job that opens up every 4 years. It's the head of the biggest business in the world, the U.S. government. The job, of course, is the presidency of the United States. The basic requirements are that you're over 35 and were born in this country. The pay is great. You make $200 grand a year and get another $90,000 in expenses. Also, they throw in a fleet of cars, a plane, a yacht, and a real nice house. It used to be called the Executive Mansion, but Teddy Roosevelt officially changed the name to the White House. What kind of men had this job before? Well, 7 of our presidents were born in log cabins. An 8th, Lyndon Johnson, said that he was, but he just made that up. The favorite presidential pet is the dog. Lyndon Johnson raised beagles. He raised this one right off the floor. Johnson said the dogs didn't mind, but he might have been making that up, too. Speaking of tired ears, William Henry Harrison delivered the longest inaugural address ever. It was an outdoor speech and lasted over an hour. It wasn't just the audience that suffered. Harrison caught a cold, and it developed into pneumonia. On the other hand, the shortest inaugural address was given by George Washington. It lasted only 2 minutes. When Richard Nixon was in school, he had a job where he really had to talk fast. He worked at the Slippery Gulch Rodeo as the barker for the Wheel of Chance. Calvin Coolidge was a president who had a strange sense of humor. He liked to press all the buttons on his desk and then hide behind his door. After the secretaries, aides, and Secret Service men ran in, Coolidge would pop out and say, "Just wanted to see if everyone's working." Herbert Hoover sometimes acted even stranger. He and his wife would often speak to each other in Chinese so that White House guests couldn't understand them. Truman, on the other hand, spoke plainly. When a Washington Post critic panned his daughter singing, President Truman wrote the man a note. "I never met you," it said, "but if I do, you'll need a new nose and supporter below." President Kennedy was a bit more sociable. He was famous for the parties he gave around the White House pool. When the less fun-loving Richard Nixon took office, he had the pool converted into office space. Some presidents make big mistakes, like when Gerald Ford was president and Queen Elizabeth came for a state visit. As Ford swung her out onto the dance floor, the band played "The Lady is a Tramp." But nobody's perfect. After all, presidents, like you and me, are people, too.
That's the end of our story, and of course, this is the board upon which we always play round 2. And Marlin, because you came in first in round 1, you get 4 hitmen, and here they are. And Diana, you came in second, so you get 3 hitmen, and here they are. Now that's a combined total of 7, so Kacey, to keep things nice and even, we always give the champ 7 hitmen, and here they are. All right, in this round, the champion, Kacey, is going to fight each challenger one at a time. Players, a right answer knocks out an opponent's man, a wrong answer knocks out one of your own men. But when a challenger loses a man, he or she must stop playing while the champion then takes on the other challenger. The champion is trying to wipe out all the challenger's men. Each challenger is trying to wipe out the champion's last man. And, of course, the winner of the game will get a chance to go on for our Triple Crown with $10,000 in cash. Now, Marlin, You came in first in round one, so you get to decide who goes up against the champ, you or Diana.
Well, ladies first.
Very, very noble. Okay, Diana, it's up to you to go against Kacey, and here's your first question. Which president was famous for his pool parties? Kacey.
President Kennedy.
Kennedy is right. Diana's hit and loses a man. And we go over to Marlin, who didn't have to wait too long. Here's your question. What is a basic requirement for being... Kacey.
Over 35, born in the United
For
States.
being president other than age, must be born in the U.S. We have to take your first answer. I'm sorry, wrong. That means the champ's hit and loses a man. We stick with Marlin. Which president made up a story about being born? Kacey.
President Johnson.
In the log cabin, Johnson's right. Marlin's hit and loses a man. We go back over to Diana. Okay. What was the president's house called before it was called the White House? Kacey.
Executive Mansion.
Executive Mansion's correct. Diana's hit and loses a man. We go back over to Marlin with his 3 hit men against 6 of Kacey's. Which president liked to press all the buttons on? Marlin.
Coolidge.
Coolidge is right. Took a while, but you got it. That's all it counts. That means that Kacey's hit and loses a man. We stick with Kacey and Marlin. Who was the president who danced with Queen Elizabeth? Kacey?
President Ford.
Ford is right. Marlin's hit and loses a man. Diana, we have yet to hear from you. You have one lonely hitman left. If Kacey answers the question correctly, you are out of the game. You might receive a phone call from Marliyn Brando. All right, here's your question. Which president was known for speaking plainly? Kacey.
Truman.
Truman is right, and Diana is out of the game. That leaves it up to Marlin with his 2 hitmen against Kacey's 5. Here's the question. In addition to his salary, how much does the president receive? Kate Marlin?
$90,000.
For expenses, $90,000 is right. Casey's hit and loses a man down to 4. Marlin's 2. Which president once worked at the Slippery Gulch Rodeo? Kacey?
Nixon.
Nixon is right. And Marlin's hit. He's down to his last hit man. Needless to say, but I'll say it anyways, as I always do. Marlin, if Kacey answers this question correctly, she stays as the champion. And here it is. How long did the longest inaugural... Marlin.
1 hour.
1 hour is right for the longest inaugural speech. Kacey's hit loses a man down to 3. Same situation. Marlin's hanging on by a thread. Who named the president's house the White House? Kacey? Roosevelt. Teddy Roosevelt. That means Kacey's hit and loses a man is down to 2. Marlin's still hanging in there. Here's the question. What would Coolidge say after everyone rushed into his office, Marlin?
Just want to see if you're working.
Indeed, he did say that. And Kacey's down to 1 hit man. Okay, this game can change rapidly. And here's the situation. Kacey, if you answer the question correctly, you're the champ, and you stay as the champ. Marlin, you answer the question correctly, you are the new champ. Here's the question that could decide, and here it is. Which president's daughter was Pan Kacey?
Truman.
Truman's daughter is right! And Kacey stays as the champ. Congratulations, Kacey. What a battle. Right down to the wire. Well played. Diana, played very well. You got yourself $200 for round 1 and a little bit of notoriety on the way. Nice play. Thank you, Diana. And Marlin, you couldn't have come any closer. Right down to the last question. You played it well. Good luck with your career.
Thank you.
And Kacey, as the champ, you know where you're going. You're going to have another opportunity for our Triple Crown with $10,000 in cash. We'll see if Kacey can do it right after this. Time for our Triple Crown. And Kacey, no more playing around. Just get the 10,000. Okay? The game is going to last 60 seconds. On that board over there, you see 8 columns, and each column is a number of circles. For example, in column 4, there are 3 circles. Now, you call out a column, and I'll read you a question based on either of the 2 stories you've heard today. If you're right, you'll change the first circle in that column into a money man, and I'll read you another question. And I'll keep on reading you questions until you've changed every circle in that column into a money man, or you make a mistake. Now, if you make a mistake or you pass on a question, you've got to call out another column. You fill up 1 column with Money Man, you win $1,000. You fill up 2 columns with Money Man, you win $2,000. And finally, you fill up 3 columns with Money Man, and you win $10,000 in cash. But, Kacey, you're not going to see how many circles in each column because we're going to keep your back to the board as it is now for the entire game. And let's reset the board's pattern. Set the board. The game and the clock will begin when you call out your first column. And Kacey, the best of luck.
Column 3.
3. What is the favorite presidential pet?
Dog.
Right. Who did Brando send to refuse his Oscar?
An Apache maiden.
Right. What did Luella Parsons call Brando?
The Squad.
Right. There's your first column. Another.
Column 4.
4. Who delivered the shortest inaugural address?
Washington.
Right. Why did Brando quit his elevator job?
He was embarrassed to say lingerie.
Right. There's your second column. Another.
Column 5.
5. Brando decided to become an actor when he was how old?
19.
Right. Who directed The Godfather?
Column 6.
6. What was Brando's first movie?
The Men.
Right. How many presidents have been born in log cabins?
7.
Right. What is the minimum age required to be president?
35.
Right. What is the base salary of the president?
200,000.
200,000 is right, and that's $10,000 again! What a job! You had 20 to try. You had 19 seconds left. Look what you did. Let's stop the board for a minute. Caught your tip column 3, went right up with column 4. You missed column 5, you went to 6. You just did it wham bam. 19 seconds left, 3 columns, $10,000. How do you feel?
I feel great.
All right, we'll be right back. Congratulations, Kacey. That's $10,000 on Triple Crown. Added to your previous total is a grand total of $12,300. All right, you're in the money. We're out of time. We'll see you next time on Hitman. Bye-bye.
Some of our players receive a generous supply of Kentucky Fried Chicken. It's tender and juicy bite after bite. At Kentucky Fried Chicken, we do chicken right. Also, Elmer's School Glue, the perfect glue for school projects using paper, cloth, and wood. Safe and washable, but Elmer's America's can-do glue. Plus, an exciting assortment of Crayola products with everything children need for hours of imaginative play. It's fun to create with Crayola.
Get the latest scoop about what's happening in the world of show business on Entertainment Tonight, Monday through Friday, 3:30 and 7:30 p.m. here on KRON TV, Channel 4.